These recent police killings, where over 27 people, majority Luos, were shot at point-blank range by Kenya police, apparently operating from an order from somebody. When William Samoei Ruto is talking to Raila, please note that they are not addressing Raila generally speaking. The entire thing is essentially the Luo community. That is the target.
Mimi nataka nimwambie bwana Raila Odinga, hiyo barabara umeenda, mimi nataka nikuhakikishie, mimi niko na wewe macho kwa macho, tutakutana.
In Kisumu, people are being pulled out of their houses and shot or crowbarred to death by police officers. In Migori and parts of Homabay, police are going into villages away from towns and shooting or crowbarring people to death.
On Friday, drawing widespread condemnation and even more public scrutiny of the police force response to anti-government protests. Ronit.
Walidhani tumejificha. Kubeba mkono tumesarenda. Wakaanza kutuchapa-chapa. Akaita mwenzake ndo hao wako hapa. Wakaanza kuniuzia risasi kwa nyuma yangu.
There, William Samoei Ruto is warning Raila Amolo Odinga. Immediately thereafter, there are shootings and killings happening in Nyalenda, happening in Nyamasaria, happening in Kisumu Central, in all parts of Kisumu, where several people have been actually taken to hospital for gunshot wounds. And even the opposition has said a word or two about it. This same thing happened in 1969 when Jomo Kenyatta unleashed terror and several people were killed. I would like you to listen to this clip and the account of some of the people who were there during that time.
Na kwa hivyo leo mimi nasema kwa ukali sana, na nikikuangalia wewe kabisa, nikikwambia maneno ya kweli mbele ya watu hawa wote, wakanye hawa watu kama sivyo dawa na mtema kuni. Na mimi sina machezo hata kidogo.
Kutoka kwa gari yake, the first victim was the only son of our friend Abdul Daya. I think 11 bodies were seen at the scene, but I think there were more. That was Kisumu massacre.
Clearly, you can see that the fight generally in this country is a fight between Luos and Kikuyus. They would be using other things. They would use different people to fight. But the entire problem is that there are the differences, not ideological differences, not differences of opinion, not because other people are better than the other, but just because of tribalism that started way back at independence. William Samoei Ruto apparently is a captive or a prisoner of some of the Mount Kenya people who never wanted handshake in the first place, because to them handshake means Luos. Forget about Raila Amolo Odinga. William Samoei Ruto is ready to work with Kalonzo Musyoka. William Samoei Ruto is ready to work with and is working with Mudavadi Wetangula. William Samoei Ruto is having regional tribal kingpins in Kenya Kwanza that he is working with. And he even just a few days ago went to Eastern and was still persuading and still expressing his interest in working with Kalonzo Musyoka, but confining Raila Amolo Odinga to the opposition. You see, this is the bigger problem. William Samoei Ruto himself goes 10 times in Mount Kenya and maybe once in Kisii, and then goes round, goes to part of Western, goes and right back to Nairobi, just cutting out the Luo area. Anybody who attempts to actually unify Kenya and unify the two tribes, Luos and Kikuyus, has always had very serious resistance. And part of the BBI largely was in itself an attempt to unify the two warring tribes in Kenya by Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and Raila Amolo Odinga, had that gone through, it would have been a big, big step in having national unity in this country. Sometimes I wonder why, when you talk about marginalization, the Luo areas, there is no proper fund or funding by government in its budget for the Luo counties, just like other marginalized counties like Turkana and other counties that are actually marginalized. Luos were actually economically marginalized since independence. And the closest that they've gotten into government is the Nusumkate government of Raila Amolo Odinga and Mwai Kibaki. If you look largely, the people who have taken William Samoei Ruto captive and the game that William Samoei Ruto is playing, he's playing against the Luo community, of course shadow boxing Raila Amolo Odinga. This is not acceptable. People cannot be killed like rats and they keep quiet. And the international community, I'm sure, are taking notes. Ati Ujaluo mingi, ati Kiingereza mingi, wale watu wa kung'oa redi. All this, we have to be honest in this country. You have to either accept the Luos are part of Kenya and part and parcel of Kenya, and by the way, or they are foreigners. So that from Nairobi, Mombasa, to every place of this country is divided into two. Those who believe that Luos are Kenyans, and of course, those like Rigathi Gachangua, Moses Kuria, and the rest of them, of this tribal thing, this problem between the two tribes, up till today. Do you think there's a deliberate policy by the Kenya Kwanza government to target Luos? Do you believe that the Kenyan system, since independence, has targeted Luos to the extent that now it's like finish Raila Amolo Odinga and you'll have dealt with the Luo community once and for all? I really want to hear your comments. Thank you very much for tuning in. Welcome to Talk to Africa. My name is George.